had some camera malfunctions on my end. So I told Kid we're gonna bust out the old trusty and use the good gimbals. Since we can't live stream, YouTube's giving us all sorts of problems. Oh, this is cool, they changed this too. We got slider doors now. Always documenting the changes, Kid. This city changes so much, it's crazy. Chick-fil-A is open down there. Have you tried that out yet?
No, I haven't tried it yet.
It's a little bit different.
Oh, really? Wow.
They don't have a lot of space for people to eat, so that's kind of one that is kind of a downer.
Yeah.
And they only have like 3 things, like the number one, the fish sandwich, and then they have the chicken nuggets, and then they have something else. But it's not the full menu, and there's no place to sit. So, in my opinion, it's great to have it on the Strip. It's kind of convenient, but I'd almost drive to I-15 in Sahara to go to the legit one.
Real one, yeah.
Right. Yeah. The worst part is it's interesting to see because all Chick-fil-A's are closed on Sunday. So I wonder if this one will be, given that it's on the Strip.
Well,
what do you think?
I don't know. You know, I think it probably will because I don't know if not one Chick-fil-A that's like anywhere that's open on Sunday.
Right.
It's always been part of their philosophy or
like their labor law almost,
exactly.
like their own separate labor law.
Yep. So it'll be a shock, you know, if they did something different for Vegas, you know. But
That would be absolutely nuts to see, and it'd be something to document too. So I'll have to check that out tomorrow and see if they're actually open.
yeah, for sure.
We'll have to update the people, Kid.
Yeah.
Get the movement going. So if you guys haven't checked out the Kid, make sure to subscribe to his channel. He does a lot of Vegas stuff. He comes here quite a bit too. So be sure to like, subscribe his stuff, and he'll be dropping some more Vegas vids here shortly too, right?
Yep, definitely. Once I get back home, from the time I get there and start doing my editing and stuff, I'll say give me about at least till Thursday or Friday. I should have something up.
Right. Yeah, it's so tough to edit when you're here trying to get the filming done, trying to get out there, because the editing just takes so long.
Yes, definitely.
That, like I told you, that's my next outsource is the editing. I can't do everything, it seems like, or I should say I don't want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's one of those things, you know. It's fun to create, like take all your little clips and put it together and see the end result. And it's so fun to do that. But it's just so tedious because I think everybody's their own worst critic. You know, so it's tough because you're always hard on yourself, and it's like, I should have did this differently. I should have said this another way. I use too many ums when I talk, you know? It's just some of those things that you catch, and you gotta kind of critique it for the next one, you know?
For sure, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, thank God we have an editing process.
Right.
Because you can kind of correct a lot of the mistakes, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
And then if you know, the only problem is if you don't have enough content,
right,
then you're gonna have an issue, you know?
Right. And that's what I've always thought, to over-film rather than to under-film, right? Because if you have too much content, then you can always edit the stuff out that doesn't work. And then when you have stuff that works really well, you can kind of cut out the dead space, you know, where it's not filler, it doesn't kind of link from one clip to the next. And that's why B-roll helps so much too, is because that will help break it up, help transition into the next one, and make your scenery and the cutscenes flow even better. I just can't wait to get out here when I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt and it's nice and hot. I love the heat, but I'm a little bit different from most, you know. When it's cold and you got 4 feet of snow on the ground back home, it's kind of nice to come out here and be able to wear shorts and a t-shirt.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's how it was in Colorado, you know. Before we left, I mean, it started snowing.
Right.
It's, you know, we got maybe 2 inches of snow, but still, it's like walking up and down the strip here, and then I'm looking back at pictures of Colorado. I'm just like,
right.
Oh my God, you know, this was a no-brainer coming on this trip, you know.
Absolutely, and in February it's my birthday, so it's the perfect excuse to get the hell out of the cold, you know, and step into some place where it's nice and warm. That's the one thing that I always love about this city is it's always got a pretty temperate climate no matter what time of year you come out here. But I think my favorite is that end of September to like the beginning of November time, where it's just starting to cool down. It's not too hot, but you know, you can still wear your shorts and t-shirt and get by.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I just hate coming in July when the airport doors open and then it's like, holy cow, it feels like you just stepped into an oven on high. Now I know what a chocolate chip cookie feels like.
I know for a fact, like I said, my next trip should be in April, and after that I should do one in June.
Right.
I'm gonna try to.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to spread it out like every other month.
When in April are you going?
I'll be here for Matt's.
Oh, the 11th through the 13th?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be here for that.
I'm gonna try and make that work, but the flights and stuff are really, really expensive for some reason during that time. Yeah, even on Frontier, it was like $390 something.
Oh wow.
And that was like just straight economy, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So nothing fancy, but
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need something fancy when it's, you know, less than a 3-hour flight. If it's 3 or more, then it's premium economy plus or something like that. I'm not gonna book a first class ticket on domestic, but if I'm going international, I'm gonna be laying in the business class seats that fully recline, you know, having a good time. I always said if I go to Europe, I'm flying first class. It's the only way I'm gonna make that 9-hour flight.
It's funny, man. Like getting tickets to come here, you know, people look online and they're all deceived.
Right.
They see like round trip ticket, like $49, something ridiculous, right?
Right.
Well, on Frontier, you know, it's maybe that up front, but once you get it finished paying for your bags, your stretch seat, and your taxes, and now you got like a regular price ticket. You know?
Absolutely, and that's some of the things that I always look at too. Like with Allegiant in Vegas, they have some good deals on Allegiant too. So I always bounce between the two. And so here's the messed up thing. Frontier and Allegiant are both budget airlines, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But help me to understand why one charges $25 for a checked bag and the other one is $40. You know, that's a pretty
crazy.
steep difference.
Yeah.
Because like, I'm thinking on Allegiant when I have all this camera gear, well, it's not that bad of an idea to bring the carry-on for $50 round trip. And I try and do the same thing on Frontier and it's $80 and it's like, man, that's kind of steep.
That is, definitely a big difference.
Well, and then when you book towards the front of the plane to get off, that I understand paying for convenience. Totally get that. But sometimes it would be really nice to sit up in the front with the huge stretch and everything. But I just can't see it feasible to spend $400 plus on a domestic, you know, anything.
That's how it was for us. I mean, we got the stretch seat. I mean, I know it's like an hour and a half flight.
It's nice though.
But
It makes a difference, especially like when you're tall like me and you're trying to move around.
For sure.
Oh man, sometimes, kid, I tell you, I sit down in that plane and my knees are literally hitting the seat. So that's why I'm like, please don't have reclining seats. And most budget ones don't, you know. The only ones that do is Frontier with their 1, 2, and 3 rows.
And then you gotta be careful because getting that first row, you don't have no place to put your bags.
And then the first
back.
Well, and the first compartment's always the emergency one for all the flight crew stuff for the announcements. So when you're in that first row, you're kind of screwed, in lack of a better word to say. You got to make that mad dash and beat everybody to your bag so you can get out of the plane.
I mean, it took me, I had to learn that the hard way because I was so used to, you know, first row, whatever.
Right.
But, man, the first time I rode it, first time I flew Frontier, that's what happened to me. And she was like, well, no, your bags don't go there.
Right.
So, like 2 seats back. I'm like, wait a second.
How am I going to get this when I'm off? That's why you got to make. That's why you got to make friends with the dude that's 2 rows behind you. Hey, will you get my stuff for me when we land? I'll hold up this line, so ain't nobody going anywhere until I get my bags. So who's going to help get my bags?
Definitely.
But it is so crazy how long it takes people to board a plane. And then when people get off the plane, man, that thing's emptied out in like a second.
People are standing up in the aisle, ready to go.
Ready to go, yeah. Before the fasten seatbelt sign even turns off here. Click, 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 click. It's like the sign's still on, people.
Every time, man.
Have you ever been on an escalator when it's broke? Like mid going down an escalator and it breaks?
Oh, no.
Oh, man. We were at Mandalay Bay last night and the escalator broke. Like the track thing went up and it stopped. I almost went flying into the person in front of me because it like stopped all of a sudden when that track hit, and it just sent us all forward. It's like, man, that'd be nuts if you're on a pretty big one, you know? Especially when you're at the Crystal shop. If you go tumbling down one of those escalators, it's gonna hurt.
For sure.
Oh, such a perfect night, kid. There's no wind. The best part about the desert, there's no bugs, no mosquitoes, no flies, none of that.
You guys want to see a show?
The strip show and the half-off tickets, kid. You interested in a strip show?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good to go.
That's what I always say too. And I always love how they ask you, like, when you're walking with your wife, and it's like,
I know.
That sounds great, bud.
We're gonna get on that right now.
Like, you're getting me in trouble just for saying stuff, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you go on like Sammy Davis, it's like the exotic boutique like strip over there on Sammy Davis Jr. by Industrial.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was driving down there the other day, and it's like, there's a lot of porn shops down here.
Down that area.
Yeah. You ever tried this Crack Shack out?
No, you know, it was on my list.
Is it?
Well, for this trip it was, but I'm just gonna bump it to the April trip because I had that's one of the choices that I told my wife to say, you know, pick between these or whatever, and
right.
We went for Peppermill, and that was a bust. Probably.
I've heard good and bad things about the Peppermill. I've heard either it's really good or it's lost its nostalgia, you know?
Well, it's funny because I was telling my wife, I said, of course, I didn't want to put it on camera, but I was like, I said, I compare it to like a very high-class IHOP from where I come from, you know? And I was, I said, they got the same type of, you know, like I don't know what it's called, like comfort foods. That IHOP
Yep, soul food.
Yeah, you know?
Stuff that makes you feel good, just
definitely.
Eating it and relaxing, having a good time. And that's why I like some of the sit-down restaurants in the casinos too. Is
Me too, personally.
They have a good vibe. It gives you the moment to rest and relax for a good hour. And it doesn't feel like some of the places are expensive, but there are some places that are actually a pretty decent deal, you know? And I've noticed that too, is like that noodle shop, if you walk by it and you're thinking, well, I'm in the Mandalay Bay, this is a little bit more of a spendier resort like the Bellagio or Aria, and you would think, man, that place is way expensive. Like the dim sum appetizer thing that we had was $12, and like my chicken chow mein was like $18. And her food was like $20. For the two of us, $100 for a good experience. You know, it's definitely worth it in my opinion. That's like people giving Matt crap about the $30 hamburger. Why would you buy a $30 burger? Well, it's for the experience. It's not necessarily just the burger. And that's what I hate about some people that just talk crap and don't really know what it is. And the people that were clowning him and dogging him on that video, it's like, you know, I hope you realize that that video is monetized, so the ad revenue alone probably covered the burger already, you know? That's why sometimes you got to spend money to get money is always the saying, because you got to buy your camera stuff, you got to get out there and film, spend the time to come out here, and you get rewarded when you do it well and people enjoy it.
And that's the thing too, man, like vlogging and doing coverage and content for Vegas, it's not as easy as people think it is.
No, it is so much harder than what people actually think. When you're doing it, is just to come up with the things to say, trying to keep it interesting, trying to keep the flow there and everything. It's a lot harder than what most people think it is. I would agree 100% with you. So,
and that was one good thing about, like Matt, I got to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
That, you know, and wanted to show me that, like, you know, like.
Oh, I think they're gonna yell at us again. Let's go over here. We're on Park, New York, New York.
You know, it's funny. You even convinced me that you didn't have it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And when your hand's free and the gimbal's on, you know, you never notice, and people don't think about it because my hands are here.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
So now you know the secrets. You can't tell anybody, kid. Don't let my secret out. No. Even though I kind of gave it away to you guys, but.
No, but I'm definitely gonna start doing that, especially for going into casinos and stuff.
And I mean, the backpack, kind of expensive, $170. I thought it was a ripoff, but when you use the usefulness and it's waterproof.
Yeah.
Like I can go outside in the rain and not worry about thousands of dollars of camera equipment getting damaged. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, it's kind of cool too, because man, you got your automatic B-roll no matter what. Like,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? You have your own B-roll already made up alone.
Oh yeah, and I have my I have a B-roll camera set up just for higher frame rates. So if you slow-mo anything, it still has the high frame rate quality.
Yeah, exactly.
So like when I do a slow-mo shot and I know it's going to be something slow, I will put it in 60 frames versus 30. And then when I cut the time in half, that 60 frames now is 30 frames, which matches all the other 30 frame clips, and it seams together and it goes well. So you can't really notice the difference. And like people don't realize how hard the time lapse thing is sometimes, you know, because when you take a 4K video that's 30 minutes long and try and compress that and render it in warp speed, it takes so much longer to process, you know.
Especially at 4K by itself.
Oh, it's.
At first, I was filming a lot of my stuff in 4K.
It takes a lot of storage space. That's why I got the Samsung Evo, the 120 gigabyte cards. It's because the Evo cards work really well, and I've never had a glitch or an issue with it not being able to pick stuff up. So it's been nice where it's kind of had that rest assured that you never have to worry about it. But what do you think, kids? Should we end this video? I know you got a show to go. What time is it?
It's about 6.
6?
Give me time to go in there and try to find my wife.
Find your wife? Yeah, same thing here. Well, I'm going to properly end this video, so I'm going to cut this, and Kid and I are going to do an official ending. So give us a second, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so the Kid and I are back after we just got done walking the strip after some technical difficulties with the live stream. We weren't able to do that for you guys, but we did some videos, some walking videos, so you'll have to check out Kid and his channel for his strip walk video, and you'll have to check out mine with the Kid. We had a good time. What do you think, Kid?
Oh yeah, definitely a good time. Really nice walk, nice weather.
Perfect.
Hey, great company.
Yes, absolutely. It's hell of a nice meeting you, man.
Yeah, you too, Ryan.
It's been a pleasure. I hope you enjoy your show, and you and your wife have a safe trip back to Colorado. Absolutely. Have a good one, brother.
All right, thanks, Ryan.